This is not Nier Automata, this is Stellar Blade. Nier Automata is my favorite game ever, and I haven't been able to touch it since I got Ending E. Now, I just finished Stellar Blade and started New Game Plus, but I think soon after I finally might be able to play Nier again after 6 years have passed, but more about that later. Let's talk about Stellar Blade first. You might have heard of it, it has over 100,000 concurrent players right now, and it ended up being PlayStation's best PC release, beating out other games like The Last of Us, God of War, and Spider-Man. It also sold over 1 million copies in its first week on PC. And partly because of that, it got a lot of press coverage, even though it already released a year ago on PS5. Now, the controversy about the game remained the same as it did last time with its PS5 release, which is the looks of the main character as well as her in-part very lightly clothed outfits. Nier had a similar issue back when it released, albeit a lot less controversial. 2B is often talked about for her looks, and it remains a point of controversy to this day, but nowhere near, see what I did there? Nowhere near the controversy that Stellar Blade received. 2B doesn't have outfits anywhere close to what you can wear in Stellar Blade. Blowing up her skirt seems timid to some outfits there. Now, like I said, the press coverage for the game sadly was more negative about this, and many, because of that, have branded the game as a gooner game. PC Gamer says 41% of the mods for the game are smut, which of course is not good. However, if you look at other games that allow mods, there will always be smut, which I guess is a whole nother topic for another video, but it's not just happening to Stellar Blade. Does that make it any better? No, not really. Just slightly at best, I guess. Maybe the issue is also that Stellar Blade just makes it too easy to do it regarding how Eve looks, and the devs themselves not policing that in any way with the mods, not that they really could prevent it, but they're officially saying the game is in the hands of the consumer, which the game should be, and people like that as well. Again, there's some nuance to everything here and there, but personally, just for the whole smut thing, it's not really helping too much. Now, there are many smut games nobody has ever heard of, so if Stellar Blade is only a horny gooner game, then why don't all these other games get the same kind of sales and player numbers? Because the game is not just that. If you're reading comments from people who played Nier for the first time, there are always a lot of people that said, came for cute robot girl, stayed for despair and depression. And everyone who played the game will feel that despair and feeling of emptiness that Nier can leave you with. Now, I hope Stellar Blade can go through a similar development and show people that the game is so much more than just a hot character and skimpy outfits. And there are positive comments like this, where people were drawn in initially because of Eve's looks, but they actually stayed for the combat, the story, just the actual game itself. So you are getting a complete package of amazing combat, good soundtrack, an intriguing story, as well as a really cool world. So there is more to the game. When I was playing the demo, you get to play the first boss and then you unlock another boss in the challenge mode. I replayed just the boss fight in the challenge mode of the demo for like 5-6 times or more, just because the combat is actually insanely fun. So once again, it goes way beyond the booty bait, and I hope the game can shake that reputation. Also, personally, my favorite outfit was the yellow sporty one with the glowing lines. I thought it was super cool. Definitely also love yellow outfits in general, and the Kill Bill reference. Very nice as well. But another reason why I liked it is because she wasn't constantly flashing her cheeks all the time with this outfit, which however she definitely does with the Nier DLC. So I was a bit confused the first time. I was like, wait, her skirt didn't do that in Automata. Like, am I like going crazy? So again, for me personally, as a Nier fan, I'll probably stick with A2's outfit instead. Now, I have a question for you guys. Be honest, in the comments please. Are the outfits an issue for you in the game? Do you think it kind of degrades the seriousness of the game, or like its reputation, or just how it'll be taken serious? Anything like that? Please let me know in the comments down below. Again, personally, I would have preferred it a bit more modest. I'm no traditionalist by any means, but I do feel they overdid it in the game. Maybe at one point we'll get a mod that was like true to the source material, that sexualizes her less, and I know mods seem to do the opposite. It's just a personal wish from me. But moving on. Besides the combat, I think Stellar Blade lags behind in each category. If we're comparing it to Nier Automata, for example, Shift Up themselves, they said they had a lot more planned for the story, to have more material and more cutscenes, flesh them out properly, flesh out the whole story more like this. As with the current dialogue and presentation, it can feel a bit clunky here and there. But again, they already said they're going to be working on that a lot, so that Stellar Blade 2 will get the attention that the story deserves. Because at its core, the story about the humans, Naytibas, AI, all of that, it's having so much potential, and even though the game's story is still highly enjoyable, like it is right now, I'm definitely looking forward to a story getting some more love for the deadline of the next game. I'd love to talk a bit more about the story and its potential, but for the sake of not spoiling anything, I will save that for another video. Also, you gotta give PlayStation ports some rep. I don't think I played a single PlayStation port on PC that wasn't well optimized. I get like 160, 170 FPS on average and like 300 plus with frame generation enabled, which at those frame rates, latency is not really an issue, especially with a controller. Also options like 4K textures or generally just frames being unlocked is just understanding PC gaming more. And keep in mind, Shift Up comes from making mobile games. They optimize their game more efficiently than some established like AAA studios. And they're also making a super fun, good game, AAA level game, quality-wise, as the first entry to the gaming market. Now, let's talk a little bit more about Stellar Blade's most fun experience, the combat. I'm still mastering it myself, as you can see from the background gameplay, but it's super fun and engaging, and I'm really tempted to do a 0 damage run against all the bosses in the game after I finish New Game Plus. Like I said earlier, even when I only had the demo, it was the combat and boss fights that kept me bringing back to the game. Or the demo back then. If you haven't played the game yourself yet, you can expect some parrying and dodging to Souls-like games, as well as more flashy attacks, which people compared more to the Devil May Cry series. You get your regular block, parry, dodge, and of course perfect parry, but it doesn't end there. You got 2 types of special attacks that you build up through combat, and beyond that you get a shield mechanic for you and the enemy, as well as enemies having a balance bar or balance points, which might be one of my favorite mechanics in the game actually. For each perfect parry, you not only save your shield from depleting, but you also take off points of the enemy's balance. And once you depleted all of them, you get to do a retribution attack. The retribution attacks are satisfying and basically reward you even more for perfect parrying. Plus, they have some really cool animations as well. Dodging is important of course as well, since some attacks can be parried, in which case you have to dodge. And again, there's more depth to the combat. There are blue and purple dodges as well as the regular one. Those two require you to not simply dodge, but dodge into or away from the enemy. This triggers another type of attack that just looks cool, and if you're about min-maxing, then knowing that, for example, purple dodging, so the one away, will make the enemy more susceptible to range attacks, so you can just min-max your damage even more if you want to like get into that. Dodges also don't deplete the balance bar, but if you level the skill, you can counterattack with a dash right afterwards and even chain them to do more damage. So as you can see, the combat is fleshed out and fun as hell. It is challenging and has many aspects to learn, which is what I think will keep bringing people back to the game actually. I think this is also the reason why videos of like 0 damage runs do well on YouTube for games like this. It's kind of aspiring, if not impressive at least. Maybe one more interesting thing, I was also drawn in by Nier when I saw the section where you can switch between 2D and 3D in some parts of the game. Somehow in my brain it was just like, oh my god, that's so fucking cool. I guess to some extent Stellar Blade has that with different sections of the game, restricting some stuff. Some people even compare it to like Dead Space in style. Again, not the same, but there is also some decent variety in the game through that. Now, getting back to Nier, and why I didn't go back to play Nier if it is my favorite game. And how did Stellar Blade help me with that? Well, some games have this moment where they break you. And for Nier, that was basically everything after crossing the hanging bridge, so after you complete Route B, basically. It kind of got burned into my memory. Now, Stellar Blade actually didn't do that for me. There was no breaking point. Ironically, Expedition 33 was able to give me that experience again after so many years. But no, Stellar Blade didn't do that. I think in some weird way, that is actually what helped me. It didn't break me this time, but there were enough parallels in the story, music, combat, because it clearly like draws some inspiration from Nier as well as other games. Just in general the vibe to kind of soften the transition back for me. So I will definitely go play some more Stellar Blade, since I want to get all 3 endings to 100%, all the achievements on Steam as well. But I'll definitely go and replay Nier, even though I'm a bit scared, because if a game broke you like that, I usually haven't replayed them, any of them so far. Similarly to Expedition 33, it again also like broke me at one point at the ending, if you played the game. And I've yet to get a second ending, which I want to get. But sometimes it just feels like you need a break after being broken by a game.